What's going on, guys? It's your boy Big Hero Chris back at you with another one. If you're new to the channel, go ahead and subscribe, give me a thumbs up, ring the notification bell, hit me up on Twitter, TikTok, the community posts. You already know the vibes. And I'm back at you with 2 weeks in a row with a Raw review. I'm proud of myself. I'm gonna give myself a pat on the back. 10 points for Hufflepuff. I did it. And this is week 2 of Raw on Netflix. And I gotta say, man, as much as I enjoyed last week's show, it wasn't like the greatest thing ever, but it wasn't the worst thing. It was a good show last week. This week's show was way better. The pacing was better. It felt like a Monday Night Raw. It didn't really feel like, WWE kissing up to Netflix, saying thank you Netflix for giving us all this money. It just felt like a Monday Night Raw on Netflix. And the best thing about it was it wasn't the full 3 hours. It wasn't 2 hours. The show was 2.5 hours, right? And I feel like that's a good time for Monday Night Raw. Like 2 hours, it kind of feels like you rush through a lot of things. 3 hours, at times it can feel like a chore. But this felt like a good episode. It felt like a good paced show. And I'm gonna go ahead and start with the main thing a lot of people want to hear me talk about, and that is the debut of Penta El Cerro Miedo. But now he's just going by Penta. And earlier in the day, it was shown on Twitter that Penta's merchandise already dropped. He already has t-shirts and masks. They weren't even trying to hide the fact that he was about to debut. I mean, they had vignettes for him. They had the graphic for him last week. And you pretty much knew that he was going to be the one that wrestled Chad Gable. Michael Cole even said that this was like the worst kept secret in wrestling. And he's not wrong. But we did have the debut of Penta. And I wasn't concerned about the match. I wasn't even concerned about the presentation. The only thing I was really worried about was the fact that it's going to be a Death Rebel theme. And I gotta say, the entrance was fire. Penta was looking awesome as always. And the theme, it got a pass. It's not the best theme ever, but we've heard way worse from Death Rebel. So, everything checks off. But as far as the match goes between Penta and Chad Gable, man, it was a really, 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 really good match. To the surprise of absolutely nobody. You had Penta's family in the front row. His daughter was crying. And I'm like, oh, that's a sweet moment, man. And like I said, the match was really good. You got a Mexican destroyer. You got arm breakers. You got dives and flips. He tried to do the zero medio taunt. And Chad Gable said, no, we're not doing that. And Chad Gable ended up working over the leg. So you got some selling from Penta. Something that a lot of people said that he doesn't do. But, there you go. You know what I'm saying? And in my opinion, a lot of people were saying that Penta was washed. I think he beat those allegations. Had a fire match. Ended up winning, of course. And then after the match, he cut a promo. And I'm like, yo, this guy can actually talk. You know what I'm saying? And he's cutting mostly the promo in Spanish because the show took place in San Jose, California. And, there's a huge Hispanic population out in California, so that made sense, of course. And he's over, man. The people were chanting Penta. The people were chanting Zero Mero. Yeah, they had people with Penta masks in the crowd, Penta signs, Penta t-shirts. So you already know, man, he's off to the races. And we're just waiting for his brother Rey Fenix to be freed from... This was something I saw on Twitter. What was it called? I forgot what the thumbnail said, but I'm gonna post it up. But it was like an obscene name. I'm like, yo, what the fuck was Eric Bischoff thinking? But yeah, we're just waiting for Rey Fenix to pull up. And so far, with a lot of these former AEW wrestlers, WWE has been knocking it out the park. CM Punk, Cody, Jade, Ethan Page, Penta, Ty Dillinger, we don't really talk about him, but he's there too. Sean Spears, my bad. We don't really talk about him, but everyone else though. WWE has been knocking it out the park, and you already know that a lot of the talent that are over there are kind of looking at what WWE's doing with these former AEW talent, and you already know it's only a matter of time before Rey Fenix, Malachi Black, Ricky Starks. It's only a matter of time before they make the jump, and we'll see what happens with them. But so far, a good debut for Penta. Zero Miedo. He even got the Triple H point. And I'm like, yo, I can't believe what I'm seeing. This feels like an alternate reality. It feels like one of those Flashpoint paradoxes where the Reverse Flash screwed up the timeline, but here we are. But as far as the rest of Monday Night Raw goes, it actually kicked off with another former AEW talent in CM Punk. He's making his way out to the ring. He's shouting up the California Fire Department. He's shouting out California because they're going through the wildfires, you know, prayers up for California. And CM Punk isn't wasting any time. He said he's finished with Seth Rollins. Now he's on to bigger and better things, and that is the Royal Rumble. But speaking of Seth Rollins, Seth comes out and says he is a hater. He's the biggest hater. He hates the way CM Punk walks, talks. You already know the line. And Seth Rollins said that he's not finished with CM Punk yet. He's going to keep him from reaching his dreams and main eventing at WrestleMania. And the best way he can do that is to eliminate him from the Royal Rumble, and he's going to go on to win the Royal Rumble himself. But then Drew McIntyre comes out, and this is turning into the player haters ball. Everyone hates each other. Drew McIntyre says that both CM Punk and Seth Rollins are pathetic, and he's going to win the Royal Rumble. So yeah, man, that's three more names added to the Royal Rumble, along with John Cena and Roman Reigns. So the Royal Rumble is already looking to be stacked, star-studded. And then it's announced that next week on Raw is going to be Seth Rollins versus Drew McIntyre. And then you see Seth talking to Sami Zayn, and he keeps rubbing in the fact that Sami Zayn is helping out the Bloodline. He's helping out Roman Reigns. But Seth is like, when is Sami Zayn going to help himself? And this is kind of like one of those things where you kind of think that Seth Rollins is turning heel, but you don't really know. They're starting to plant those seeds for that Seth Rollins heel turn. That's something we got to be on the lookout for. And then you see Sami Zayn looking like he's about to go talk to Adam Pearce. But Karrion Kross and The Miz are outside of Adam Pearce's office. And then you hear Karrion Kross say that the Wyatt Six has been moved to SmackDown. And I'm kind of relieved by this because I'm kind of tired of the whole Final Testament and Wyatt Six rivalry. It's entertaining. I like the dynamic between Karrion Kross and The Miz, but it is time for them to move on to something else. So it is cool to see the Wyatt family going on to SmackDown. And it sets up a match between The Miz and Sami Zayn. And to the surprise of nobody, Sami Zayn won. But the real thing that was really surprising, really surprising, was the fact that Sami Zayn won with a Blue Thunder Bomb. And you can really count on one hand how many times Sami Zayn has won with that move. But every time he wins with the Blue Thunder Bomb, we throw up our hands, we throw our hats in the air, we throw babies out the window and celebrate the fact that the Blue Thunder Bomb actually beat somebody. So, good for Sami Zayn. We love to see it. Something else we love to see is Sheamus and Ludwig Kaiser just beat the hell out of each other. And that's exactly what happened. Sheamus ended up getting the win with the bro kick. You had Braun Breaker watching at ringside. And at Saturday night's main event, it is going to be Sheamus versus Braun Breaker for the Intercontinental Championship. And this is another match where you have two men just beating the hell out of each other. And it's like poetry of rhymes. I wouldn't be surprised if Ludwig Kaiser got involved because for some reason that's how these things always work. But the match between Sheamus and Braun Breaker should be good. Speaking of Saturday night's main event, you have Gunther come out and he talks about how great he is, talks about how he's the greatest world heavyweight champion ever. And you have all these people, coming out. They're good for Netflix, but they're not as good as Gunther is. And he's begging someone to step up and try to take the World Heavyweight Championship from him. And the man that comes out is none other than main event Jey Uso. And the match is made official, so we have two matches thus far for Saturday night main event. Jey Uso versus Gunther. And this is one of those situations where you kind of do see Jey Uso having fun and eating with the crowd, but then you also see serious Jey Uso because Gunther talks about how Jey is good, but he's not as good as Gunther. He's always going to be a tag team wrestler, and that's like a trigger for Jey because that's where he goes into serious mode and says that he is a tag team wrestler, but at Saturday night main event he is going to beat the yeet out of Gunther and become the new World Heavyweight Champion. Do I think that's going to happen? No. But it is cool to see Jey Uso getting these championship opportunities, saying that he's done with Drew McIntyre. He's done with the Bloodline family drama. He's offered championship gold. He wants the gold, sucker. And he's going to get it by beating Gunther. Yeet. Speaking of championship gold, we have the finals of the Women's Intercontinental Championship match between Lyra Valkyria and Dakota Cobra Kai. Now, me personally, I was hoping Dakota Kai was going to get the win, but that wasn't the case. The winner and the inaugural Women's Intercontinental Champion is Lyra Valkyria. And honestly, I like Lyra Valkyria. She's a good wrestler, but she doesn't really do too much for me. I think she needs a little bit more personality, but you know, good for her. She's the new champion, so hopefully we get the rematch, and hopefully one day soon Dakota Kai does get that championship gold, because she deserves it, and Dakota Kai is great. Something else that's great, and that is more from the women. We have Rhea Ripley come out. She is the new Women's World Heavyweight Champion. She's talking about how mommy's always on top. And before she can get deep into her promo, she's interrupted by Nia Jax. And she says she's here, you know, to talk to Adam Pearce about the transfer window or the transfer portal or whatever. And she says no matter what show she's going to go to, no matter who the champion is, she's going to get her gold back, whether it's from Rhea or whether it's from Tiffany Stratton, who is the new WWE Women's Champion. And you also see Bayley watching, and Nia Jax just goes in on Bayley, and she's like, why are you even here? And Bayley's like, idiot, I live here. She lives in San Jose. So this leads to like a fight between Nia, Bayley, and Rhea Ripley, with Rhea and Bayley knocking the hell out of Nia's fine behind. And all three women were looking good, but you know, Nia was looking extra good, if I do say so myself. And she keeps calling Bayley BBL Bayley. Let me tell you something, like I've had my eye on Bayley for a long time. That is no BBL, that is all natural. But what is also all natural is this main event street fight between Damian Priest and Finn Balor. And I gotta say, man, when it comes to street fights, Damian Priest does not miss. The street fight was a lot of fun. You had a Falcon Arrow through tables. It looked like Finn Balor was going to be taken out on a stretcher. Damian Priest said, damn all that. And he pushed him from the stretcher back to the ring. You had Judgment Day interfere. You had the War Raiders interfere. You had choke slams while Damian Priest had a chair wrapped around his neck. You had coup de grace through tables. But at the end of the day, Damian Priest ended up getting the win with a gnarly South of Heaven. And hopefully this is the end of the whole Damian Priest versus Finn Balor Judgment Day storyline. And it's also looking like the Judgment Day is coming to an end, because there's constant fighting between Finn Balor and Liv Morgan. And it's looking like they're already teasing a breakup between Liv Morgan and Dominic Mysterio. So it's looking like the Judgment Day is reaching its Judgment Day, and that's going to come to an end very, very soon. But with that being said, guys, this video must also come to an end. So what did you think of this week's episode of Monday Night Raw? What did you think of the debut of Penta El Cero Miedo? Let me know in the comment section below. Of course, as always, like, comment, and subscribe. You guys take care. Peace. I'm out. Peace.